Hey everybody, Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits. I'd like to talk about a time that's kind of been forgotten. It was a time many thousands of years ago when magic was more accepted than it is now, and people would practice nature magic and eldritch magic in tandem as if they were one and the same. It was a time where people were bold and they hadn't learned all the lessons of the world yet. They were developing the first major societies, and even though none of those societies really survived, they definitely started forming, and they started growing. Societies in general of the humanoid races began to get more and more advanced, and at the same time, as a young species on the world, many of them had not mastered all the errors that one would make. And so, as they played with life and magic and taught themselves to be gods, they started creating different beings. And I've gone over some of the beings they've created on the channel. I've made some creatures that were unique to these ancient peoples and what they did. And today we're going to delve back into that. So this is what many would refer to as a Muck Ogler. These guys were created as a kind of a defensive creature, but over time they evolved on their own. They were too unintelligent to control and manipulate and to train. They just kind of wanted to do their own thing. And that ended up becoming an issue. So the Muck Ogler escaped when that society fell. And yeah, there we go. Something like that. Yeah, it escaped when that society fell, and then because it was magical in nature and it wasn't naturally created, it evolved very quickly. It became its own thing. It spread, and then it got out of control, and the new people that took over the world after that society fell determined that it was dangerous and it needed to be extincted, and they did try to do that. However, that didn't go the way they wanted it to. And some of them survived. And the ones that survived, well, they're out there somewhere. We don't know where exactly, but they're out there. Well, I say we don't know. But if you're here with me tonight, we do know. They are in the swamps, in the murky, disgusting areas of the world. Creeping around. Being gross. Surviving. Doing their thing. What's their thing, you might ask? I'm not sure. But whatever it is, it ain't good. Where's that little piece of wire at? Oh, I'll use this. This will work. I'm not sure what this is called, but I do like it. So, you're probably thinking, well, how dangerous can this thing be? It looks a lot like a snail. Yeah. Part of it does look like a snail, I will agree. But that's not the worst part of it. Let me get a pin drill and try to make a better hole for those. So, muck oglers are absolutely terrifying because once they see you, they will hunt you until you are dead. They will not stop for anything. They will continuously hunt you and hunt you and hunt you until they can eat you and consume you. They will only leave behind a little bit of tissue, a bone that they can't digest, and hair and nails. The rest of you will be gone. Every piece of sinew and tendon and muscle will just be completely and utterly devoured. Now you think, oh, well, how fast is this thing? Well, its actual speed isn't the problem. Because muck oglers are so incredibly stealthed that it doesn't matter how long it takes them to get you. They might find you in 3 days from now while you're sleeping at camp is when they catch you. They can swim faster than they can crawl as well. They can also propel themselves short distances like a spring. Which is not ideal for the person being stalked. Oops. They cannot be as surprised, and they are immune to both eldritch and nature magic, which means that only divine holy magic can hurt them. They are also extremely drawn to the types of magic they're immune to, as it is a more fulfilling meal to them. Now, they look silly and cartoony, you would say. Yeah, they kind of do. That's okay. Because when you're dead, it won't matter what they look like. How will one kill me, you ask? Well, it's funny. If they can spit on you or touch you, the ooze they generate paralyzes you. Initially, for 1d4 minutes. Any kind of healing, whether it be from a potion or a spell or an item, will automatically give you an additional save. Restoration will remove the effect temporarily, but only temporarily. Oops. Holy shit, a box just fell over and scared the turds out of me. Off of me. Somehow I was scared. How much scared, I don't know. I was scared, though. I was terrified. Okay, let's get my minor burning hand spell and do some cleanup work on this Muck Ogler. So as you're paralyzed, which is a primary, they do have a secondary, which is paralysis for days. And then they will simply suction their mouth to you and drag you into the water, where you will suffocate while you're paralyzed and die. Some people will escape. And these are very rare, so you won't encounter them often. But you will encounter them, I assure you. Okay, I think we're pretty much ready here. I'm using that's not dark enough. I'm using a dark purple as my base coat. This is called Purple Pansy. And I'm going to paint everything but the eyes with that in the shell. I mean, I'm not saying I won't get any paint on the eyes or shell, but I'm not aiming for the eyes and the shell. I'm aiming just for the tail and the body. If you get it on the base, that's okay. We're going to come back and paint that blue and green, because this creature's in the swamp. Now, a Muck Ogler, you say. That's kind of a dumb name. Yeah. But when they made these, they probably weren't called that. Muck Ogler is probably something that, a nickname they got from beings or creatures that live near the swamp. Because if they have decided that they're not going to eat you for whatever reason, they still watch you as if they're distrusting, or if they're trying to decide what to do with you. They're ogling you. And they live in the muck. So yeah, maybe that's not what they were designed to be called, or what they were designed to be. But that's how they're known, as the Muck Oglers. They're very rare. They can breed. They can repopulate, but they just don't seem to do that very often. Some speculate that they can reproduce asexually, but no one's really sure. Most of the magical creatures designed in this horrible time of magic could not reproduce. Just like when you made a donkey and a horse and make a mule. Many of them, I believe, are sterile, if not all of them. I don't know that for sure. I think that. Now I want to get black, and I want to paint the front half of the eyes, maybe a little bit more than the front half, like maybe the front 2/3 of the eyes black. So like a hermit crab, they will seek out a new shell sometimes. They don't grow one. This one, for example, has taken a giant skull. However, anything can be suitable, and they would gladly use an old barrel or an iron kettle or anything they could find. And they will outgrow it at some point, but they will not move to a new shell unless they find one big enough to fit into. So this guy is kind of at the end of how big he can get for this shell, and if he doesn't find another one, his growth will be stunted, and he'll slow down how fast he grows rapidly. Come on. Give me a little drop of purple. Now that purple needs desaturated some, so I'm just going to add a dab of mid-tone gray to it. I'm going to switch out brushes real quick, because the brush I have is probably not ideal for this. All right. And we need some of this Admiral Blue for a dark blue to be our swampy kind of base color. And we're just going to carefully try not to get any on the model. You look like a slug. I'm gonna paint you right after I made you for a game similar to D&D. I'd like to welcome everybody to the shop tonight. I'm so glad everybody could come. I know there's a ton of content on the YouTubes. I'm not an idiot to that. I know that. I'm glad you chose to hang out with me with your time. I really do appreciate it. There's so much content out there. It's essentially impossible to even try to consume all of it. And as you pick and choose what you're going to do, what you're going to use your time on, the fact that you settled on my little channel and my little silly things I do, that means a lot to me, so thank you. To you, it's not probably a big deal, because you're watching stuff anyways. But to me, it's a big deal because as I see how much is out there to look at and to get into, I'm surprised. So the Muck Ogler has a couple unique things about it. I'm using this red because I don't feel like digging out one, though. Going over there and digging one out. Oh, that's way too much red. No teeth. Because while you're dead underwater and rotting, it can just suck all the parts of you that it can digest off of your bones. And the hair and stuff that it can't digest will disappear out its rear end. I'm going to get some of this metallic here. And that area that about 2/3 of the eye surface that we painted black. We're going to come back and paint that silver. Silver, well, yeah. And there's more to it than them just being silver. They can actually see even in magical darkness and in any condition. Even in a pure total blackness, absence of light, these bastards can see. Remember, they were designed magically to be watchdogs, to be guardians and protectors. And that dark magic rituals that created these things, even though they were supposedly done in the name of righteousness, created a creature that can see, even through walls, a little bit. That's right. They also have an aura of true seeing. So if you were to cast a spell that made you look like a log, they would not walk by. They would not be fooled. If you got a really high hide check, unless it was a natural 20 perhaps, but even then you're not guaranteed that they don't see you. Now I'm going to get a light blue color. A little bit of that. Some of that gray. Some of that light blue. Something like that. So, these horrible creatures can spit at you or touch you and potentially paralyze you. For extended periods of time, during which that time they don't know why. They can't figure out if they learn this somehow or if it's just an instinct they have. They will use their mouth and suction it onto you, and they will back up, dragging you into water and drown you. Once they've decided to eat you, they will not stop. If you become too aggressive in your attacks on them, they will try to retreat into their shell and hope that the splatters that it makes of them, you fighting them, will get on you and stun you. Anytime you attack a Muck Ogler, you have to roll a save, or their goo gets on you and freezes you. Anytime a Muck Ogler attacks you, same thing. If anybody's unpleased with the Muck Ogler, you can blame the individual who commented more eyes in the swamp is always a good thing. Or something along those lines. As we're continuing our Mire of Misery series in preparation for my game night, or game nights where they'll be engaging in this area, I'm going to take the opportunity to make as many unique encounters to try to shove them into as humanly possible. Because I think it enriches the gameplay experience significantly. I'm just coming in here, and I used the wrong color, but that's okay. And getting some of these spots that I don't feel like I had good coverage, or that things just look a little too purple yet. And that did happen in a couple spots where it just looks too purple still. That's still too purple right there too. Okay. All right. Muck Oglers look very slow, but remember, they can swim really fast. And they can propel themselves through the air 30 feet from a swim or a crawl. Now let's do something a little fancy. Let me look for a knife and my glue gun. Okay. And that's the muck that they can shoot. I'm just going to make it look like a clear spittle. Like that. And then, if I can find a way to make it work, I kind of wanted one coming off the, like a trail coming off the back, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make that work with this base. Okay. Sweet. So there is my Muck Ogler. Oh, I want to do something with those eyes. Hold on. Real quick. Small brush. A little bit of yellow. And a little bit of black. to black. Just want to do kind of a like a vertical kind of gross thing like that. All right. So that's the Muck Ogler. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon. Leave a comment. Go to the website and buy some miniatures. Not these miniatures, real miniatures. Come on now. And check out our Discord, where we are doing lots of fun stuff there, but not every day. But I'm trying to make time to do stuff. It's just I work a lot. So come check us out. If you have any ideas for builds, I'm open to some suggestions, because the day's going to come where I run out of ideas of stuff to build. You know, can't build a silly snail every day. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.